Okay, August 9th, 2017. It's pretty apparent, people, that I'm being forced out of this house. Okay? Now that the majority of the work has been done, there's actual sheds on the property. Food can actually grow on this property. Do you see these weeds? Don't look at the flower, look at the weeds. Look at the weeds, people. Do you see the weeds? This is what this whole property looked like. Minus a small patch of grass in the center of that. Outside of that, this was all sand, covered in morning glory and weeds. The back had weeds, complete from one end to the other end. Side of the house, full of weeds. Right? City of Surrey doesn't want this going to court with Uncle John because their name is going to be brought up in terms of their care facility and what's going on in those care facilities, right? With the illegal detainment of elderly people, mainly Caucasians, right? With a 95% immigrant workforce who either cannot speak English, barely speak English, or speak English but you can't understand them because their accents are so heavy. As the old people are being detained and forced to sell their houses, just like I'm being forced out of my house. Okay? Because that's what's happening here, people. I'm being forced out of my house. I bought the material in May. It was May 12th or so. I started to talk to Jerry right at the same time, started to pay him. City jumped on the bandwagon and started harassing me again. To humiliate me, to make me look like I'm incompetent, to make me look like I have never done anything in this yard. Absolutely anything, people. Absolutely anything. See those weeds? This is what this yard looked like throughout the whole yard. Do you see that morning glory? It was throughout the whole yard, people. And do you see how fast it grows? Do you see that? That was my grass, people, in the front. That was my grass. Do you see how fast it grows? Well, I'll multiply that by the whole fucking yard. Do you see all this, people? This was all weeds. You could mow it down and make it look like grass, but at the end of the day, it was nothing but weeds. Here, the weeds are starting to come back because I'm not doing anything, because I'm too busy doing other things. Right? So, but yeah, I've come to the conclusion that I'm being forced out of this house. Right? The city of Surrey is also trying to prevent these lawsuits from going through. Because like I said, they don't want their name involved in terms of where Uncle John went missing. And if you notice, nothing's getting fixed. Alright, no leaks will get fixed. Unless I try and find a way to do it, people, it's not going to get fixed. This whole thing needs to be replaced. So does this one. Right? The whole thing needs to be done properly. Right? Moving things around. I have to wash, people. I have to wash everything. Don't forget, everything got leaked on because of this. All leaked in here, all leaked in the garage. I have things I have to wash in the garage. I have things I have to wash there. I have things I have to wash from the shed over there. I have toys in the front that I have to wash. There's some of that stuff in there that needs to be washed. Oh, you know, it's just lovely, right? All the time washing. I just love to wash things, right? You know, I've already been down here washing things. And technically, I still have half a month of August, September, October, and going into even November to do the work in the yard, people. Right? Shit like this doesn't get done in a fucking couple of weeks, right? You know? Because I'm repairing things as I'm going along, right? I'm building things. The greenhouse, or the Andre shed is now done, practically done, right? I helped to build that too, people. I was out there hammering. Okay, Uncle John's chair. So yeah, people, I'm being forced out of this house. I've served my purpose. I've gotten rid of the majority of the weed problem, basically. Right? I solved the sand pit in the front. Right? It's a little messy right now because I've been kind of like focusing out there, and you know, I'm still dealing with plants, right? You know? And I'm not well, people. I'm really not well. Right? And you know, I'm having to repair things. And before I can even repair them, people, I have to move things around now to accommodate the city again. Right? When I should actually be washing this stuff, and I've asked my daughter to get me some new boxes that have gotten ruined. Right? Because of the leak that was going on in the garage, because of the leak that was going on in the shed, because of the stuff that the raccoon did. And, you know, I had to take out those boxes and bags and move them out, and so I have to change the bags, I have to change the boxes, you know, I have to re-put them away. I can't really put them underneath the shed here because that porch is not getting fixed. Now, my neighbor said he might come over and look at it and might try and help me fix it. But technically, I shouldn't be fixing that because that porch has been like, that porch, ever since I moved in, people, that porch has been leaking, right? And it creates so much grief. Like, serious, it just creates so much grief. Just like when I moved in, there was no storage for nothing, for absolutely nothing, right? Now there's functional storage. Some of them still leak. Andre's shed is really nice. Like, I am so happy, right? So I'm trying to muster up some energy here to go out in the front and start weeding. Weeding, because when the city comes, hold on a minute. Because when the city comes, now that they're targeting my whole yard again, right? Because they, you know, they're trying to get me evicted, basically. You know, they're working in partnership with somebody, okay? Whether it's with Fraser Health, right? Trying to derail me from this lawsuit because I've done absolutely nothing for sure, right? And, you know, it was enough that I had to spend money on the shed, right? Just so that it got built properly with the right materials, right? And then now I'm going to get penalized for receiving materials free from my neighbor, right? Whether it was paint or wood or whatever, or gutter material for something else to, you know, run on something later on at a later date so that you can maybe get the water going into the water drums, or just fixing the gutter up here, or the gutter over there, or the gutter over there, which is like on the house, right? Needs to be repaired, right? You know, so anyway, you know, we've been doing all this and, you know, coping with all this other shit, and the weeds have gone wild in the front, right? So when the city comes, that's what they're going to look at. They're going to, oh, weeds, oh, what is that? It's a pond full of weeds. Oh. So anyway, I don't know if that's okay. That's what I have, people. I have my little set of keys. I told you. I told you I had a set like this. Do you see how many is on there? That's a lot of keys. Anyway, I'm glad I got them back. My youngest daughter found them, right? She found them downstairs in the laundry room on some chair. Don't ask me how that happened. I guess I had them and I must have just absentmindedly put them down. But whatever, I got them back. So this is good. Never threw them out. Never lost them. So I was talking to my younger son and he's going to lend me his camera. I just told him I won't take it outside and work and go in my purse and grab it and, you know, and then put it back in my purse, work, and, you know, I will walk around the yard with it, but I won't, you know, put it in my purse and carry my purse around as I'm working, you know, and take it out with gloves on and stuff, right? I'll just use it for inside commentary and, or if I'm just walking around. So hopefully that will solve this issue of the camera kicking out all the time, right? Which would be good. And so my energy ebb is pretty low here, and being that, you know, the city is attacking my whole yard again, expecting months worth of work, right, in a period of just, you know, a few weeks, right? You know what I mean? As the weeds are growing and, you know, the stuff still needs to be washed because I am building and I'm still gutting. Like, I haven't washed those toys from the raccoon yet, right? You know, there's quite a few toys that they mucked up. But now that I have Andre's shed, I can move some of those toys in there. And whether we have a yard sale, whether we give them away, whether some go to my new grandson, you know, remains to be seen. That's for another day. But, you know, they're still sitting in boxes or containers where either the box needs to be changed or what's in the container needs to be washed, and the city's going to come along and they're just going to see it as hoarding dirty toys when in fact those toys were clean, and it took me weeks to clean them in the bathtub and then air dry them before I bagged them up, and then I put them in that shed out there which needs to be repaired with wood, right? I have to take wood and put it up on the ceiling part there so that the, you know, the cedar siding roofing doesn't flake off, right? Because it's old, right? So if I just take sheets of plywood or whatever and just pop them up there, right, nothing's going to fall down over, you know, a course of months and months, right? So whatever you put in there, not that I have a lot in there anymore anyway. What do I have in there, people? I have wood for carving and wood for making those musical instruments, right? On more than half of that shed. The other half is just a few things for storage, right? And I still have to, you know, gut the other side of the other shed yet, which I haven't done yet, and wash everything down, right, before it rains again. Right? I still have to figure out how to fix the leak that's going into the garage and into the sheds, right? So, I guess I'll just leave it on that. And I'm just going to go out and go do some weeding in the front for now, right? Make a nice path so that the city can come in and focus on something and take the whip and say, do something about that! Because if you don't, we're going to charge you $15,000 for those bricks. Okay, so before I start, I just want to remind people that I have put my heart and soul into this yard. Like, seriously. Obviously, it's gone wild, right now. Too much water. My oldest daughter, has been coming at night watering. And there's a cucumber growing in there. Where is it? There it is. I don't know. I can't see. I'm going to be standing here all day doing this. Anyway, I see a cucumber. But as you can see, it can get out of control real fast in terms of weeds. right? But considering this is not the whole yard, this is where I'm just going to focus on right now, because if he comes in here, this dude, this city dude, you know, he's going to see this, and that's what he's going to focus on. Right? So I have to clear out some of this stuff. Take off some of the dead and dying leaves, right? Because I haven't really had time to do it. Hey, I think you can see me. I'm tackling these weeds, people. I have to empty these cement, what do you call those things? Boxes that I made, right, to make the cement boxes. I have to empty them out, right, and make more. So I took out the blocks from here and I put them over there when I was working. So I needed more, right? So now I'm taking out the weeds, people. Put the cement blocks back on so that the weeds don't get out of control. That's what the purpose of the cement blocks are for. And to make a nice walkway. My son has a driving test. So at some point today I have to take a few hours out and go help him with that, right? And I'm just gonna see, this is all nice sandy, ready for the blocks again. Because otherwise this city dude, like I said, he's just gonna come in and he's gonna see it to sieve, like the weeds, right? It takes away from the what's in the yard in terms of the nice plants and the walkway and stuff, right? Like technically, I should be paying somebody for this, people. I should have somebody helping me take care of this yard. It would be a nice part-time job for somebody, but I don't have a few $100s a month for that, right? And so I'm left to my own devices out here, right? So anyway, that's what I'm doing right now. Now this is the camera that I have to use outside for this kind of stuff, because what happens is, make sure it's not flashing and changing, is because I'm working and I'm talking to you. This is why I need buckets, people, because these buckets fill up pretty freaking fast. By the time I'm done weeding out here, because when we get back, I'll probably just come right back outside and weed. I'll have like 5 buckets full. And then I save little bits and pieces of grass to transplant. Right? To build in grass where I want grass. So if I make this part look nice, so if I work on it now until my son and I go out, and then when I come back, I'll just continue doing what I'm doing. And I'll do it right up until dark. Pretty much in the front here. I won't worry about moving things and putting things away or washing things. I'll just worry about weeding out the front here a little bit, right? And maybe laying down these cement blocks again, right? Because they're just for here anyway, right? I can't lay down too many because I have to bury this pipe into the ground and run the cord through the pipe for the pond, right? I've been so busy I haven't been able to do that, right? So I can lay down those sunblocks. Right, here's another nice little piece of grass. Look at that one. Right. It helps to save money. And, you know, planting grass by seed is, you know, it's difficult, right? You need to have, I mean, if you were doing the whole thing and you were going to fence it off and not have anybody or anything walk on it, you know, no cats digging in it, then yeah, it's fine. But for what I need it for, you know, it is what it is, right? It works for me, right? And weeds grow so fast. Somebody took that little pushy thing, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, oh, damn, you shouldn't have gave it away because you probably need it for, you know, something, but whatever. Really no place for it, right? See, here's, right here, I can't really put this cement block in here because I have to dig this up and lay down the pipe. But that's okay, because as long as I get rid of the clutter in terms of weeds, right, hopefully this city dude will see past what isn't done and can see what's being done and can kind of picture it in his mind what it's going to look like when it's done, right? And he'll back off, right? Because I really do feel like I'm being forced out of this house, people. I mean, who in their right mind continues to do this kind of stuff like I'm doing right now just to be mistreated? Like, seriously. And here's a nice piece with seeds on it. This one you kind of want to save because it will reseed itself. So I'll put that there. So anyway, I'm not going to carry on very long with this film here. I'm just going to turn it off, have another smoke, and then I'm just going to hunker down on these weeds until my son is ready to go. And then I'm going to come back and hunker down again until dark time. And hopefully this little area will be much more presentable for the 14th, right? And this is why I'm not going to take my son's camera out, because I don't necessarily take everything off just to turn off. I just grab the camera, turn it off, and stuff it back in my purse. I told him I wouldn't do that, right? So, hold on. Okay. So this is what I've done so far. You can see I'm collecting the grass. Okay, I'm going to work my way. And I'm going to just stockpile on these buckets, people, and you're going to see how fast they pile up. And then multiply this little area throughout the whole surface of the yard, minus a small patch of grass in the front there. This is, I can't remember what it's called right now, but it's edible, just so you know. Right along with the purslane. Right? Look for those little white hairs. If you see little white hairs and you pinch it and it's coming out creamy white, don't eat it, because that's poison. That's the cousin that's no good. But the purslane itself you can actually eat. And these leaves here you can actually eat. Seriously, people. Like, I am having to work twice as hard, twice as fast, twice as tired, twice as sick, twice as worried, twice as panic attack, just twice of everything. Because you know, if I don't do this, the city will put its attention on this and use this as an excuse to carry on with its harassment, right? Because they've got some ulterior motive. Whether it's in partnership with the owners of the house that maybe want to just sell it and get me out of here as fast as they can, or maybe they want to keep the house and just kick me out and rent it out for $2,200 versus $1,700. Who fucking knows? All I know is the city's up to something, right? Whether they're trying to, you know, protect what happened from, you know, with their care facility, they don't want it to get out in the real world and the public, how these temporary care wards are just sorting out bays, right, to find out who has assets and who doesn't, who gets the streets and who gets AKA mini prisons called old folks homes, right? You know, because they're making their taxes on it, people. They're making their taxes in triple, right? They're making their taxes on the house sales because the house now is available for sale because the old person's in the care facility and their assets have been taken over by somebody else, and the old people have no say about it, right? And these houses are being overinflated, so, you know, the higher they go, the more the city makes, right? So anyway, I would have done this anyway, because we're almost ready to put the pond in. The only thing that's stopping us is petty bickering between me, my son, and I. Right? We're working on it. We're trying to communicate. We always could communicate, because, you know, he's an intellectual, right? So we get into these philosophical debates, right? So anyway, we're working on it. And so we're only shy of the repair kit. That's it. Other than that, we should have everything good to go. So I would have done this anyway. Even if I wasn't going to put the pond in this year, I still would have cleaned it out. The point is that I got a whip on my back with not enough time to finish that over there, not enough time to finish that over there, not enough time to finish that over there, right? Because I'm pretty much out here having to cope with... I'm telling you, I'm not going to empty these buckets, I'm just going to go around the yard and start filling them up. And when I'm done fucking weeding in just this little area around in here, you'll see how many buckets, right? And you can't just throw this kind of stuff, people. You cannot just throw this kind of stuff with food scraps into a compost bin and then expect it to get good dirt. You need the pine needles, you need the little bits and pieces of branches and that type of thing, the bark and all that, because that's what enriches the nutrients and the pine cones and stuff. That's what enriches the soil, right? That's nature's way of rejuvenating the earth, right? So anyway, this is I'm getting into a jungle here. You know, I don't appreciate feeling bad for doing something positive. And I find that these government workers that like to wield their authority around under immunity clauses, act like judges and juries, prosecutors and jailers, right, and get paid for it. You know, this is what they do. They criminalize honest people. That's what they do. Okay, people. So since I'm under scrutiny for the whole yard again, with this dude walking around taking all these pictures because he's coming in on some kind of attack, why else would he do it, people? He started off in the back. 6 weeks later, all of a sudden, he's wandering through the yard. Anyway, as you can see, I'm kind of doing a path here. I just found something. You can see, right? I'm gonna start working on getting these pipes in the ground, right? With the cord and whatnot. But look what I just found. This is amazing. 2 little plums. It was so cold the plum trees didn't produce plums, but I counted about 3 or 4 more up higher, so I got about 5 or 6 plums that I can see so far, people, out of this whole tree, where last year it was infested because it was so cold it froze, right? So there's a couple more up there. And this guy, when we get home, I'm going to ask my son to try and pull it out. This is a plum tree, and it's getting quite big. I was hoping to pull it out when it was a little younger, but I forgot about it. So I'm going to ask him if he can yank it out, and I'll dig out from the bottom down in there. All right, you can see it's quite stocky. All right. And then I'm going to work until dark, people. Then I'll get up in the morning and at some point start my day out here and continue working all the way around. And that will be 2 days gone. And of course he'll be like, he won't notice that now that it's done. Like once it's weeded, it will look better, right? So there won't be as much to complain about, right? He'll be able to focus. Well, you haven't done anything in the back yet, like what have you been doing, right? Even though he's running around taking pictures, looking for things for me to do, to suggest that I don't do anything, right? Like it's psychological warfare. That's what it is, people. It's a fucking psychological warfare. These city trucks drive up and down the street all the time, seeing me out here doing things. Seriously. Okay, people. So I'm back now. My son has to do it again in two weeks. His driver's test. It's just something minor. Outside of that, people, like, as you can see what I was doing, I'm going to come back out here tomorrow and just work out here all day tomorrow, which means I'll be out here tomorrow, right? Removing the weeds so I don't get accused of being a slob, okay? This is the dirt that my neighbor gave me, so I'm going to put it over there. And I'm just going to work out here tomorrow, people. I mean, obviously, whatever chopping block I'm on, I'm not going to live up to nobody's expectations here, okay? Because that's not the agenda. The agenda is, I think, to force me out of this house. Now that the majority of the hard work in terms of yard work is done, and with the housing market, in terms of rent gouging, and mortgage sales and that type of thing, right? I just think that, the negative forces that be just don't give a shit about anything. All right? It's all about money, people. That's what it's about. It's just about money. All right? I never got paid for anything I ever did. I never got reimbursed for any plants that I planted into the ground. Nothing. Look at that zucchini. There's another big one in there. Right? So anyway, I'm just going to come out here tomorrow and just work out here tomorrow. Today, I'm going to, what do you call it? Tonight, I'm just going to do some walnuts because Andre and I went and got some more walnuts. And then get jars ready, get the canner ready, get everything ready probably for tomorrow morning. Try and do that jam before I come out. And then I'll be out in the front anyway for the full day. Working a little bit on the side as I'm working out in the front. Right? And then the next day, I don't know, do something else, right? But I can tell you right now, I doubt I will live up to their expectations because they'll say, what is that junk there? And I'll be like, well, the raccoon. And they won't care. They won't care that I've got that there and other stuff in the back that the raccoon scattered around and made dirty and whatever, and I have to wash it even though it was nicely washed before I put it in the shed. I have to do repairs on the shed. I have to do repairs on this, right? I plan on painting it, right? Obviously I'm going to do something in here, but who knows? Like, I'll probably mow the grass tomorrow too, right? Just because. And then again, I'll be cutting off all these things, whatever, anything that's dead and dying. Mow the grass. That won't be good enough though, because there's that on the side of the house, which is like, my buckets and pails of rocks and, miscellaneous pieces of wood or something that I'm going to use for border or whatever, or mulching material. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to measure up to anybody's expectations here because I don't think it's about expectations. I think it's about getting me evicted. I think it's about forcing me out of this house. Right? Doesn't matter. You could be working out here 12 or 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I don't think it would ever be enough. And just as I'm gathering up material to either make a walking cane, musical instruments, or carving with Andre, something different.
I'm scared.
No, go get your car, Andre.
No, I can't.
Now that I'm planning to do something different here, right? That's being taken away from us.